before we get into this evening's live, I want to go over what we're going to discuss here in this live. Um, Not just when it comes to the charts, but also some things that I found throughout the day. There was a closed door meeting today between Ripple and the SEC, but for everybody who thinks it's going to lead to some kind of lawsuit end or the final, resolution here, that's not what these things are about. We've got, I believe, April 14th or 16th is the date we're looking for when they should make some kind of determination here on which direction they want to go. But there is that, obviously. But that's not until closer to the springtime or closer to when we get towards Easter. But today, XRP's been pretty flat, but it's held pretty well here. I mean, it's honestly held pretty well here today. Not a lot of volume. But at the end of the day, in the 2 hourly, we put in a nice little reversal here. So we never made a newer low in this last 2 hour. In fact, we started to push up here, and we'll be here in 29 minutes together because we'll be doing this until about 7:30. I tried to come on at a time where we had enough time before the daily close and then enough time after to where we can see like a short-term direction. But there's going to be a lot more than technical analysis. I'll turn the comments on in a minute, but I can't see them right now. I don't want to turn them on yet because I want to get through everything I wanted to say about this live. Right now, we can also see where some of the distribution's going through fiat leak. And a lot of it's flowing through the states and so on and so forth. But there is some movement here. But we'll go through this about the Ripple lawsuit and there, how it might resolve the appeal before April 16th, supposedly the SEC. And then we'll see what's going on with the closed door meeting. That's just a very short read. The Bollinger Bands, as you've seen in the headline, I mean, the Bollinger Bands are setting up another rally. And we know when the Bollinger Bands looked ready to break, it took about a month or two when we had this massive rally. The Bollinger Bands were a dead giveaway as well. They were the tightest they had been since 2017. And now, again, they're suggesting a rally as we come closer to spring here. And we're almost to spring now. How many weeks until spring, Julie? Couple weeks? Yeah, so we're only like 4 or 5 weeks away from spring. So I think that April time frame is going to be pretty interesting, especially because that's where you get to the lawsuit part, what's left of it. I think this is really important to go over, but it's probably overshadowed by the price action. But Ripple partners with BITUNIX for institutional custody of XRP and RLUSD in South Korea on February 27, 2025. And we'll talk about the partnership that Ripple announced. So this is very important for that part of the region as far as digital assets and custody and all that goes. But for institutional adopters, this will be important. So we'll read through that as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on outside of the charts that continue to keep me very interested with XRP. And I'm not selling my XRP right now. So if you took profits before, this isn't my profit zone. So maybe 40% ago, but now it's getting into that make it or break it level to where if you just sell it now because of a few red candles and you give it up before it hits that confirmed end of a right shoulder, you're kind of catching yourself that this could just be the end of a wave 4 here that's finishing off. And then wave 5 still going to bring us to where we think. I mean, in a 5-wave move by the Elliott wave, it doesn't seem to suggest we should break all the way down here. So, this isn't the time when it's in fear and extreme fear. This isn't the time to be, to me, this isn't the time to sell when it's extreme fear. It's extreme fear for a reason. And I know it came up a little bit, still at 10. We're at 10 right now. So when you have an extreme fear at 10, you're not selling. I'm sorry, this is where big reversals can happen. And if you don't sell or you do sell, I'm not a financial advisor, but if I was teaching you Trading 101, this isn't where you sell. You want to sell back here when it's extreme greed, when it's over here like in early February, like over here at late January. Hell, even back here closer to December, if we go back far enough, if we would put this back into like a 3-month, there was many opportunities in the sell. Look at this in early January. Look back here in December, right by my birthday at 83 when it dumped, or 87. These are the times you want to be selling in extreme greed. When it's in extreme fear, that's when you want to look for opportunity. I mean, when was the lowest time we were at 10? I can't remember another time in the last year, and definitely not in the last year. You have to go back to like 2022 when we were at 11, and now we're at 10. Like, this is unbelievable. We're at historically low levels here when it comes to greed. The only other time, August 2019, we're at 5. But you always had meaningful bounces after getting into this range. Like, maybe we do come down a little lower. Maybe we come down to 5 for greed, or for extreme fear. But look how low we are. Like, we're historically low. There's only been 1 or 2 other times you can point to that's been lower. Like, this is opportunity a calling at these points. So this is either the massive trap of the century, or they're going to drop us down again, and we might visit that $1.50 level. But I'm telling you, this traditionally, they don't usually dump the rest of the way when it's in extreme fear. They like to dump it when it's in extreme greed so they can capitalize on liquidations. Right now, if they dump it, a lot of people aren't buying because it's extreme fear. So there's people selling off, whether they were in the bull or bear market, buying it. And then the people that should be buying right now because of the extreme fear, they're not even buying right now at value. So this is, it's really interesting where we found ourselves right now. It is very interesting. So we got a lot to talk about. I'll turn the comments on. I am rather intrigued by the way it's ending here at the end of the day. My title in my video this morning, I said this would be a spot where we could get a sneaky reversal. And it still feels like that. Still feels like this could be a spot. But, you know, maybe it's just to retest the topside liquidity at 240 or 250 or 260, you know. But it certainly seems like this could be a spot here where something starts to develop. So let me turn the comments on. Oh boy. Let me get on my phone real quick. But I definitely I like the way it's looking at least at this point today. You know, I can only take it on a day-by-day basis, and then we look at it a little longer out. But wow. Wow. Thank you so much for the $19.99 donation. Tom, $5,000. What would you buy? Well, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't just tell you to buy something. But like I said, right now is a tricky spot. Right now is a tricky spot. You've got a few of them that are on the backside here after descending wedge breakouts that have back tested. And now, like DGB very well might be trying to push in a big push up. Now, some of them have already shown us that they come all the way back down to this exhaustion. But be careful with that, because right now you can see a clear double bottom that was put in. If you take out the wick into here, I would definitely look the way, too, of, like, algo. You know, algo's so crazy cheap still, but it's the part we're in right now. To put $5,000 in here, I'm not comfortable. So, I mean, you got to make that decision and have the balls to make that decision. Like, there's some of them, but, like, we have to understand, like, is this a bear flag right now? If this is a bear flag, you know, and this isn't just conducive to XLM, if this is a bear flag and it plays out, it would be, where do you buy it? You don't buy it if this is a bear flag yet, because your 5,000 is going to turn into like 4,000 if that's a bear flag. Now, again, we're in extreme greed, and it wouldn't be the first time I've seen them drop it one last time in extreme greed and then, you know, kill that noise. But that would bring us to the bottom here at about 21 cents. I would definitely be looking at it if that happens. But we're on the bottom side of this consolidation. That looks like it could be a bear flag, and it's not just with XLM. But we need to make sure these aren't bear flags that are about to play down. That's what we need to make sure of. XRP's got the same thing, and that's what this target would be if this played down. You know, down to this area. And yeah, it could do it higher. But I mean, that needs to invalidate that little structure. XRP, wow, it's crossed up with so much different writing on there. Let's see. Joseph Euler, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Your 5th YouTube super chat and part of Tom's Army and your 2nd month with the Dusty's Out House Crypto News. That's incredibly generous. Wow. That's like more donations in the start than I've had like in a week. to combine. Sometimes I just don't know what to say. Like, that's already like a $19.99 and $20 donation. I haven't even really done anything. Seriously, thank you guys so much. That's incredibly generous. Like, incredibly generous. And thank you everybody in Tom's Army. I see like Mark Caston, Papa Wheelie, Jennifer Krupiak, Crazy Pole, UK Phil, Joseph Krupiak, Syrian, our very trusted mod, all of you in Tom's Army. John Bugothorpe, Papa Wheelie, Keith, MC Prosperity, Mo. Let's see. Joseph Euler. Love seeing all the members of Tom's Army in here right now. It really means a lot. Kyle Kupiak, Cape Cod Kyle. No relation to the other Kupiaks, but name spelled the same, and he's in Massachusetts. He's also part of Tom's Army. His just doesn't show up all the time. It's weird. There's probably other people too. Wales, Josie Whale, thank you for being in Tom's Army as well. Let's see if I can find anybody else. Shaky Leg, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army, along with Amanda, both of you for over 3 months with the XRP Meteors. Tanya Love is in here. Tanya May in Tom's Army for over 2 years now with the XRP 589 Moonbeds. One of our most popular members, hands down. Miss Vicky, if you're watching out there, we miss you. I know you still watch the updates. We miss you. We love you. I hope you're everything's been blessed and you're doing good out in the sphere right now. The Cannabis Podcast in the house. Don't forget to follow him as well if you like anything to do with cannabis. Not just smoking, or relaxing, I should say, but also like the horticulturing part of it, but the medicinal side. Edibles and such. So, awesome to see you in here, my friend. I appreciate your support as well. Let's see. Bob Burtner, thank you for being in Tom's Army, along with Crypto Cooter as well. Thank you all so much. Really, I seriously thank you. God is good, says James. Yes, indeed. Don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it's beautiful because when more than one mentions the name of our Lord and Savior, God becomes present in our actions, in our conversation as well. That means we're amongst blessed. We're amongst the most blessed right now, which is awesome. So, whether you're a true believer or not, you don't have to believe. You just have to believe in the goodwill, let's just say. You want to believe in your fellow human instead of, trying to navigate through a way to make yourself look good by making somebody else look bad. See, just like in finance, here's a lesson I can give you. Just like in finance, somebody loses money for somebody to make money. So right now, if this drops, someone's going to lose money for somebody else to make money. So if somebody loses 1,000, somebody else made 1,000. Well, just like if you rip on somebody for your 2 seconds of euphoria to where maybe you look good in front of a crowd, or maybe it makes you feel better inside by being a dick, that same sense of rejoice that you're getting, somebody else has to feel shame, or somebody has to feel regret. See, that's taking somebody's innocence, and I believe that's the truest sin. You don't take somebody's innocence, and there's many ways to do it. So when you're wandering through my comment section here, be helpful, not hurtful. Be kind, not rude. Try to give some knowledge that you've learned through past cycles instead of making fun of somebody who might not sound as educated as you because you haven't been down this path before. Those are the very issues that I struggle with every day that I am trying to do better with and grow. And it's been my biggest mission of this year. So just those some true words. Joey McCaffrey. Thank you so much for the $5 donation and also being in Tom's Army for 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor. He says, thanks for keeping us informed, Tom. Means a lot, keeping us on track. I do my best. And right now, if this does fall off, if this is a bear flag, it does bring us down to the bottom of what we've already identified as a broadening wedge. Now, it gets very dicey if we break that. It gets very, 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 very dicey. And we don't really want to go down that path. But unfortunately, we could be building a bear flag here that we have to acknowledge, and we have acknowledged for a couple days. And we've seen a lot of evidence that some of these are going towards exhaustion. Like I've already seen it with the H-bar. H-bar's already come down to the exhaustion. It filled out the exhaustion wick. There have been a few now that have come down and filled out the exhaustion wick. We had a couple that have fared better than others. Like today, IOTX is making me proud. IOTX, it's making me proud. Up 8%. And yeah, in the last few hours, it's had a little struggle, a little bit of a reversal it was showing. But if it could close up here in the 4 hourly and somehow finish on the top side of this closure, we might be able to still pull off a bullish close here. But again, it's been a big struggle here, but that could be a, it's already filled this exhaustion wick out, and it looks like a bullish Dartley possibly if this can pull. That would be incredible if this pulls up. That would be incredible. So we'll see, because it's at the support right now, and it bounced off that 1.6 level perfectly. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. MXC, I think, has done an incredible job as well. It's filled out this area down here. And yeah, it had an artificial push up, but it's helped absorb this drop. And it still kept this inverse head and shoulders intact. So this was an incredibly important 50% surge before the market dumped 25%. Because now in reality, from that 2.6 level where it dropped, or 2.8, even from here, like you come up here, you might have dropped, but you're still within the same consolidation. And it's actually put on about a 5% gain here. Now we have to make sure this isn't a bear flag. So that's the importance right now, because if these are bear flags, this will drop it to at least 253, or even in the worst case scenario, probably back down to that 0.02. But that looks like an incredibly long possible inverse head and shoulders. And if we could get some kind of volume, it could change our trajectory here just ever so slightly in the short term, like ever so slightly. And, looking at the commodities market, it gives me a little bit of hope because commodities got slaughtered today. Gold and silver was down. And money, if it's finding itself out of that sector today, maybe it's going to find itself into risk assets to close out the week. And there's no bigger risk asset than crypto. So we'll see how that pans out. And honestly, I'm trying to see if there's going to be a big dump in like commodities. I live off of the dividends. Like they pay great dividends, the ones I'm in, except for Fortuna Silver Mines. But the rest of them, like Newmont Mining, B2 Gold, First Majestic, Barrick Gold, they all pay dividends. And I'm going to be building into these until we get into the proper bull run for commodities. So it's almost like how I felt before XRP and crypto broke out when I was building in. That's how I feel with commodities right now. And then, like, if we do, let's just say the government does send everybody $5,000, or if they get rid of the property tax or they get rid of the federal tax, because there's all these things floating around. Anything that can create extra capital would be great. Would be great. And not just the dividends, Samir. They are great in the bear market, I agree. The other thing that I'm taking advantage of, and I'm probably going to up it to 25K, but right now I had 15K in a 2-month CD that I took out from profits of crypto. Instead of throwing it into some weirder investment, I ended up putting it in a CD at just 3.6% for 2 months. It'll yield about $560 roughly, something like that, over 2 months. And then I'm going to compound it. I'm going to just rerun it. But I'm going to try to add 10,000 to it to where it starts at 25. And then every 2 months, it's making like $1,000 or $1,100. And then maybe the next 2 months, I can put another 5,000 if I can swing it. So, no, I didn't say there's going to be Florida. I said if something like that happened, and I named a couple different things that could happen. But you have to inject capital. Never say never. Never say never. The easiest way to keep the citizens blind is to give them a little bit of free money. Remember the blah, blah, blah years of 2020? All they did was sent us a little bit of cheap money and everybody turned their eyes. And they basically said, screw the country and screw our own health. We got a little bit of free money. We'll just do whatever they say. So never say never. Never say never. IQ, welcome in. Love seeing you in here, William. I really do. I'm not taking anything. If the government sends it, the last thing they ever sent me, I never cashed. Your
whole 1 cent?
And then, well, that was when they tried to, oh yeah, they sent me my tax, something in taxes a year late, and they sent me 1 cent as interest. So I kept it. Like, what an insult. Imagine if I didn't pay for a year, how much I'd have to pay. But anyhow, and then when they tried to offer that unemployment at first, they paid me a few weeks, and then I never, ever went through it again. I let them keep it for the last year and a half. And thank God I did, because everybody who decided to take that, even though my job got taken away from COVID, I wouldn't have been there. I decided not to take the money after the first 2 checks they sent, and I just ignored it, and I stopped doing it. and I refused, took my account off so they couldn't send it anywhere. And then everybody ended up having to pay taxes on it and ended up having to return it. Most people did, which was pretty insane. So never trust, never. It's not a good look. So here, can I teach a lesson real quick? The reason for commodities, think about it like this with gold and silver. The price isn't actually going up or down. The price of gold has never actually gone up or down. Just hear me out. The only thing's changed is the US dollar's purchasing power. And right now, gold being at $2,875 an ounce, it's no different than it was at $100 an ounce, except now our US dollars were 28 times less in value. That's how you need to look at it. So by having it in gold, you have a store of value, a true one, because it's keeping up with the inflation of the US dollar. So that's the way to look at it. The difference between gold and crypto being a store of value, like Bitcoin and gold, there's no rhyme or reason for Bitcoin going up or down. It certainly didn't move down as much as it did because the US dollar was going up or down. It's doing its own thing. It's based on how long can we keep this Ponzi scheme going, because there is no dividends paid. Staking is not the same thing. There's no interest being made, which means if you're being paid through staking, that means the exchange now is having to do riskier and riskier things to keep that money flowing, which is why you see more and more new tokens listed, more and more meme tokens. What happens when these meme tokens go away? And there's already stuff that they're starting to break in, about the meme tokens going away, and they're using Trump as part of this talking point, saying, oh, well, Trump was a sitting president and he had meme tokens that rug pulled the market. Now we have to ban them. And this is, I think, was the intent all along. And once that starts happening, you'll start to see some shady exchanges start to go away because they won't be able to prop themselves up because they won't have the meme tokens. And that's going to be scary. That's going to be a scary proposition. We do have a little bit of movement here. ZIL's up 3.06% right now. So a few of them are starting to have a little bit of movement here at the end of this close. Right on the support structure. We look to have a nice bullish reversal here at the end of the day here in the 4-hourly with ZIL as well. That made a new high today from the last 4-hourly. It made an extreme low, but then it actually pushed into a new high in the 4-hour push. This is actually a good sign. I'm telling you, this could be a good sign here. We'll see how it starts playing out, but Friday's going to be interesting. But remember, Saturday is when the escrow dump happens. And it's going to be interesting being on a weekend. Like, I think we can all agree. Tomorrow, believe it or not, is the last day of February already. It doesn't seem real, folks. Things won't slow down. It doesn't seem real. Like, how can we already be going into the third month? The end of the first quarter of the year is already upon us. Doesn't seem real. I don't know. I mean, we do this every single day, and it's like, how is time going so fast? I have to point to something because I like to look for guidance. Doesn't this kind of look like the stellar lumen signal? Like the lumens, the stellar XLM, doesn't that kind of look like their logo that just randomly is sitting there? And I've been thinking about XLM this entire live. I started out with it, as a matter of fact. Doesn't that kind of look like the XLM logo just sitting there on ZIL? So maybe our intuition's telling us something here. First quarter of the game over, but we aren't even at halftime yet. Exactly, Jay. That is so true. That is so true. So to move us over just a little bit, because I do talk a lot. Hey, 1/3 of the audience has hit the like button already. That's fantastic. But I'm gonna start reading some of this. First, I'm gonna keep our hopes up. Nope. First, we're gonna talk about the Ripple lawsuit stuff. So the Ripple lawsuit news. SEC might resolve appeal before April 16th closed door meeting today. Okay. Am I talking too loud?
No, I'm gonna do this now.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're gonna go
I got
outside.
it all set up.
Sounds good. I think that's our cat staring at me, isn't it? The Ripple lawsuit has kept everyone on edge. But will the SEC recently dropping cases against big players like Coinbase, Robinhood, and Uniswap? All eyes are now on Ripple. Excitement is building as the SEC prepares for a closed-door Sunshine Act meeting on February 27, 2025, where allegedly XRP ETF is directly mentioned, fueling speculation that the end of this long battle might finally be in sight. Could we be approaching a game-changing moment for XRP holders? However, former SEC lawyer Mark Fago clarified and wrote on X reminders, these are two wholly unrelated things. ETFs are not discussed at the weekly closed meeting, and as always, the calendar for the closed-door meeting is confidential, and there's no more reason to think Ripple is on the agenda than at the last 200 meetings. About the Ripple lawsuit, Fago said the SEC may eventually drop the Ripple appeal even though the court ruled they broke the law. This situation is unusual and past cases can't be relied on. He explained that the SEC likely wants to resolve the appeal before Ripple's brief is due in mid-April. For the unversed, Ripple must file its appeal-related reply brief by April 16th. So this was the... I don't care about Jack the Rippler. He's pushes FUD like no other, so I'm not even going to read his bullshit. I'm just going to save you. The legal battle, which started in December 2020 with the SEC accusing Ripple of selling XRP as unregistered security. And we already know how this works. It's already been ruled it can't be a security anymore, and it's only based on the fines right now. Between Brad Garlinghouse, Christian A. Larson's, and maybe a few others in Ripple. But it's only the fines right now. So nothing's come of this, but that's what was going on today. You know, the ETF stuff is obviously it's something looming as well. So something big is going to happen here, and it's going to catch everybody off guard. It always does. And only the ones that ended up getting in early and the ones who had the stomach for it late and didn't get caught up in the blood money, you know, being on the top side liquidity, because that's the honest to God truth. If you weren't part of this community and you started buying it and you found my community later, when we weren't buying, you probably ended up top side liquidity. Because we didn't buy anything after this bull run started unless we had opportunity. And some things still have opportunity, but I'm not talking XRP, and most of you watch this for XRP. So there was no opportunity in XRP after December. I'm sorry, there wasn't. Actually, after November. In December, I came on right around my birthday all mad. And then I came on even madder in January when we had the Trump token and then what looked like was going to reverse and maybe bring us all the way down to $1.50. I did not hit that quite all the way. It did come down to $1.81, but it never did come down to that $1.50 gap, which is actually a good thing because we actually retested the monthly fair value gap, you know, back in January roughly. So these are all good things. These are all good things. So the Bollinger Band suggests XRP prime for spring bull rally. XRP may have hit bottom as Bollinger Bands hint at spring bull run. The Bollinger Band's a popular technical tool for analyzing financial assets developed by John Bollinger, suggests that the third biggest cryptocurrency right now, XRP, may have hit its bottom. Thus, after losing 15.6% in the last 4 days and falling from $2.60 to as low as $2.15.8, the price of XRP, it did go down to like 206, didn't it? Like, bam. The price of XRP reached the lower band on the daily time frame and even stepped out of it. This may indicate that the asset is oversold, and historically, such deviations from the band's boundaries have preceded price reversals. XRP seems to be following this pattern. Interestingly, the cryptocurrency demonstrated this reaction right at this price point and is now back in the range defined by the Bollinger Bands. With a gain of 1.93% in the last few hours, it is the kind of reaction that traders watch for, especially when combined with other factors. So, I mean, this is not bad news. This is good news. You know, this is stuff we need to start seeing if we're not going to go all the way back down to that $1.50 area. And you can see the Bollinger Bands here. That's why I use this article, so that you can at least see a proper look. And this is in, looks like the daily right now. So definitely at the bottom, and that looks like a possible start of a reversal. We'll see, though. Those other factors are hard to ignore. February is winding down, and March is just around the corner for XRP. This time of year has historically been a period of strength. So XRP's price history prediction. Looking back at its price history, the cryptocurrency has Delivered average returns of 20% in March, 27% in April, and 27% in May. These numbers are not impressive. Are not just impressive, they are consistent. So, I mean, March is coming up here. March is coming up here, and it would be a good month to have some kind of rebound. The last time XRP posted negative results across all 3 months was back in 2016, nearly a decade ago. So what does this mean for XRP? The combination of an oversold signal from the Bollinger Bands and historically bullish spring season creates a lot of potential. While nothing in crypto is ever guaranteed, the setup suggests that XRP could be gearing up for a big move. And it feels like we still need to gear up for wave 5. So I would not be opposed to that very thing happening. And now to get rid of the rest of the reading for today, I think they're all important here. And we've done a fantastic job getting through this in under 10 minutes so far. Ripple partners with BITUNIX for institutional custody of XRP RLUSD in South Korea on February 27, 2025. How many of my beautiful audience has seen this news? Just out of curiosity. How many of you have seen this while I take a sip of water? My Icelandic water, by the way. Which I said I wouldn't sponsor anything, but if Icelandic ever came my way, I might do it. Such good water. First, for some of you, excellent. Oh, shoot, I did not do my intro, did I? I did not do my intro, did I? Whoops. And it's already been 31 minutes. Holy smokes. All right, good evening. 7:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, February 27th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So what a day it's been indeed. What a day. So Ripple has announced a partnership with BITUNIX, a prominent South Korean digital asset custody provider, to enhance institutional crypto custody services in South Korea. And this is from 3 hours ago this was written. So Ripple has announced a partnership with BITUNIX, a prominent South Korea digital asset custody provider, to enhance institutional crypto custody services in South Korea. This collaboration will utilize Ripple custody to create a secure infrastructure for XRP. Ripple USD, RLUSD, and other crypto assets aimed at bolstering institutional adoption and supporting developers on the XRP ledger, XRPL. The partnership reflects Ripple's ongoing commitment to expanding its presence in the digital asset ecosystem within the region. See how they have to put AI now? Remember years ago we would talk and be like, it's kind of funny that all these articles end up the same. Just like the news, it appears all those years ago, all they were really doing was doing AI before they released it to the public. I'm just saying, doesn't it make a lot more sense? I think it makes a lot more sense that, you know, it gets released about 50 years before they release it to the public. That's just the way it goes. I don't make the rules. I just have to live by them. So XRP partners right here. So XRP has announced a partnership with BITUNIX to expand institutional cryptocurrency custody services in South Korea. Under the partnership, BITUNIX will utilize Ripple custody to provide secure infrastructure for XRP, RUSD, and other crypto assets, aiming to support institutional adoption in the XRPL developer community. Ripple is a digital asset. Let's so for anybody who doesn't know, Ripple is a digital asset and payment system technology developed by Ripple Labs. The project was created in 2012 with the aim of providing faster, more reliable, and scalable solutions for global money transfers, particularly for financial institutions and banks. Ripple offers fast and low-cost transactions using its own distributed ledger system called RippleNet. RippleNet enables real-time transactions taking only a few seconds with minimal fees. The cryptocurrency XRP is used within the Ripple network to provide liquidity and facilitate transactions. It is important to note that Ripple Labs manages and develops the Ripple technology, while XRP is an independent digital asset that operates within this technology. So, good information. I mean, I don't know why this is so soothing. We'll see USD, right? We can see some of the other ones as well. You know, it's not just XRP. We can look at some of the other ones, like, see where Algo. Let's see what's going on with Algo. We can see what kind of money's flowing with Algo. We're at in the world. You know, it's not just XRP. It's pretty cool when you start to actually look in this, but it's not going to flow as quick as XRP. Like, look at the difference in flow. Lot different flow, right? So there's other things, you know, there's things you can look at. So I like it. I like it. You can switch it how you want to, but I do like it. I like it a lot. So 7:05, we had the flip of the clock. Let's see where the crypto fear and greed is at. Whew, it barely even moved. 16. That's good. This is good. I like seeing it here. I really like seeing it here. So we're only at 16. We're still in extreme fear. We're really in fear right now. Like extreme fear. This is good. Like if we're looking for a sneaky reversal, this is good. I know I keep saying it, but there's also Ondo's partnership with MasterCard. Interesting. I think we've heard about that too. UB2 Saab, welcome in. My meme genius is in the house. And Tom's Army for over 2 years with, wait a minute, over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Excellent. UB2B Saab's on YouTube as well. You guys got to follow him as well. He had a Bob Marley, one of his arts he made. It had over 40,000 views. It was incredible. I've never had a video with that many views. FYI. Not on here. I've had videos with 250,000 or more on TikTok. But not on YouTube. No, sirree. This is just straight and consistency that got us to where we're at right now. For Bitcoin, if we don't get a reversal and break out of this resistance in a hurry, we would find ourselves eventually down at that 74K. That's been a long-standing target for a while. We're hoping we could return the other way, but this looks like it's just... I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, we need some serious attention. And we're not so much worried about Bitcoin. We need some of the money to flow away from Bitcoin and flow away from, you know, the Bitcoin dominance aspect. Because even with the drops, we're still at 60.79. Now, we might have topped. Remember, we had our wick that came up here, and that could have been a resistance point finally. That finally got us, and that's why we circled it. That could finally get us out of here. And for our sake, I hope it does. But we'll see how this plays out here going forward. But we really need this to be a bearish pennant. We have lower highs and higher lows coming in a bearish fashion. Looks like a bearish pennant. If it is in time, Bitcoin dominance is going to seep all the way to 8.5%. If it has a bullish breakout and it goes to the top, Bitcoin could command 96.2% of the money. And that would be just unspectacular in my opinion. Unspectacular. I don't want to see that. So Bitcoin dominance, definitely something we'll have to pay attention to all the way across. Ethereum is already broken down out of a rising wedge, but doesn't mean the weekly's closed yet. It means that in the weekly, we still have a chance. Weekly, we want to close this wick above. So what I'm looking for by Sunday is for Ethereum to get back over 24.37 and just have this a wick below. Wick belows are usually just fake outs. They're trying to get people out. Oh, the meme coin ban's going to happen. That was my prediction. When Trump put out that meme token, I said all the stuff, why it was bad and why utility was going to get robbed and we're going to have a rug pull and all this shit, and I was mad. But I also said that it would probably be how we get regulation on meme tokens, you know, to ban them. So, you know, the people that bought the memes, you know, they got the rug pulled on them like they always do. That's meme tokens. You can make money in memes, but most people don't even hear about the meme until it's too late. That's the truth about memes. So that's the rising wedge. We have to make sure that Ethereum doesn't play true down out of, because that could bring us as low as 5 something. The total, yes, Tanya, I'll look at H bar. I promise, love. I will look at H bar just as soon as I get through the total 3 and the total crypto market cap. The only reason I'm going like this is that I'm doing it for a reason. So the total crypto market cap is at 2.764 trillion. That's every crypto combined. If you take out just Bitcoin and Ethereum, the total 3 is minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's only 805.7 billion across all tokens not named Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's not good enough. You can't have 1.31. So basically, 1 out of every $3.5 is going to all of crypto. 2 0.5 out of $3.5 that comes in is going to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So 2.5 out of every $4, or out of every 3.5. So if there's $3.50, $2.50 goes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and $1. You see what I'm saying here? $1 goes to like the rest of the tokens combined. That can't happen. Can't happen. And it never works out well in that case. And look at this. The total 3's got a huge reversal right now. I mean, that's about as bad as it could look in the weekly. I think that's the weekly. That's about as bad as it could look in the monthly. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the monthly. And we've only got 1 day left in the monthly. That is a horrendous candle. That's a big reversal. And that's tomorrow it closes. Oh, Jesus Lord. So the total 3 looks like hell. The total 3 doesn't look much better, I must say. If you cap interest on credit, most people won't get credit. High risk means high risk, yes. And I want high rates. I want high interest rates. You know why? Because if you have a savings of any kind, that's how our grandparents got rich. They had 15, 20% savings. That's the secret. So all the people bitching they want low interest rates but have money, you're crazy. If you have $100,000 sitting there and you got a 2% interest rate, when the banks don't even give you a shit right now. But what do you mean the total 3 is just excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum? That's it. There is no third. It just excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's it. They just call it the total 3. There's no third. Bitcoin and Ethereum make up everything else besides Bitcoin and Ethereum make up the total 3. There is no third in there. There's not a third crypto, I can tell you, that makes it up. It's just those 2 are not in it. So every other crypto, meme, and everything else combined, which that's a good question, because saying the total 3, it kind of does make it sound like there should be a third one excluded, now that I'm reading that. But it really is only Bitcoin and Ethereum not in there. That means every token between the memes and all the pool is there. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Rich. Good question. That's a good question. There's somebody else asked. I don't know. Somebody asked, I think it was Rich. But if it wasn't, whoever asked that was a good question. But let's see. The total 3. Oh, my goodness. Again, we need to make sure these aren't bear flags. If that's a bear flag, we're screwed. In the short term. I mean, this needs, I keep saying this needs to reverse like yesterday. Like yesterday. It needs to reverse like yesterday, because this brings us right down to 700 billion. And this would give you a nice look at your XRP and everything else that everybody thinks is a good deal to buy right now. Even if you're talking about algo, this means the total cryptos, the alt tokens, would drop about 13% on average if this drop happens. So everything you think is a good deal right now, you're going to lose $130 on every 1,000, or $13 on every 100. Or 13,000 on every million, if it puts it in perspective. No, 130,000 on every million. There you go. 13,000 on every 100,000. So, like I said, we need this to go in a hurry and not be this bear flag. And this is across the board. So, I mean, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. It's nothing that I haven't spoke of since December. I've been pounding my fist telling people, when you're in it from the beginning and you're up 8, 9, 10x, you've got to take some profit. I don't care what the great book says about holding forever. That's not crypto. You have to trade from one cycle to the next. You have to get returns when you make a great trade in a bear market. The only people that tell you it's stupid are the ones that want to use you as exit liquidity, or the ones that simply have they don't know any better. But you're not taking financial advice from a poor person when you're trying to trade. You're not trying to take financial advice from somebody who's never been there. You know? And you're not trying to take financial advice from me. You're just trying to look for what's going on in the charts, and then you can make your own financial advice or your own financial decisions, because I am not a financial advisor. But I can tell you, too many people try to get their advice from broke people. I used to be there. I used to do the same thing. I used to care so much what somebody else thought of me or what somebody thought of something else. And they have a 7-year loan on their car. Like, look at your neighbors. Out of 10 people, the sad truth is 8 of them live paycheck to paycheck. And out of those other 2, 1 of them is using credit cards to not live paycheck to paycheck, which you might as well be using paycheck to paycheck. So if you think you're doing bad, but you don't have a car note, a house note, or you can live without being paycheck to paycheck, you're doing better than 9 out of every 10 people you go past. All those people typically with fancy cars and all, they usually have payments. You know, and the number one thing for me is I don't have payments on anything anymore. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's payments for, like, electricity and that, but I don't have a house note. I don't have a car note. You know, and that's changed everything. So it's changed everything, because then you don't have the stress of that, but there's so much stress of everything else, you know. But you got to try to start, and I like the debt-free living. I don't want to take a bunch of credit out to buy a whole bunch of luxurious things. That's just not me. But I think that it's a model that we have to start to surround ourselves with. That's why I started talking about CDs for a couple weeks here. Now, I know you guys are probably sick of that, but I said we need to hide out for a couple months in this bear market. If it does do a bear move, and we could hide out, and it's not much, but for, 2 months, the average CD right now is about 3.5 to 3.6% in the USA. And I already took 15,000 out of profits of crypto, and I just put it in a 2-month CD in early February for 3.64% or whatever it was at the time, or 3.64, one of the two, because I felt like it was a better way than just trying to hide it out somewhere else. And I've got plenty in precious metals. I've got commodities, but there needs to be some sound money that's not at risk. And if you put it in a mutual fund, it's still at risk. A CD, the only risk there is that inflation is going faster than that 3.5% in 2 months. So, we've got to find ways in these markets to get strategically better. Absolutely, you still have terms. But you're not going to go to a sleazeball or a bank or somewhere that's not. If you go somewhere that's not going to be around because you're trying to get better terms, that's on you. But you got to go somewhere that has backing. So I don't disagree with you. But to try to say a CD is the same thing as crypto is kind of, I don't agree with that. But I mean, technically the money's not yours for those 2 months, so anything can happen. So I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying there's not as big of a risk in a CD as there is in. It's just not the same. Whether you've worked for a bank or not, it's not the same risk. Plus, when somebody tells me, like, here's the honest to God truth. So you worked at a bank, so you're probably institutionalized in the bank's thinking. So you probably don't know any more than the average person. No offense to you, it's the same thing I say to a doctor. A doctor is so conditioned to believe what they want him to believe that they don't look outside for themselves anymore. Like, that's the truth. And that's what's ended up happening in our society. Like, people think there's justification. Oh, I did this or that. Well, congratulations. I'm not even a financial advisor, and I know more than a financial advisor because this is my forte. I don't have to look at any rule book, or I don't have to fill any agenda or any quotes or any data. I don't have to make any weird loans or hit any kind of foreclosure debt. I don't have to make somebody I don't have to do any of this stuff. So it's one of those things. Sometimes the one who has the most knowledge are just the people that simply do it all the time, and there's no conditioning involved. Like, I haven't been conditioned by anybody. This is just me. The smartest people in the healthcare industry are the ones who never went to medical school. It's so weird. So, I mean, it is what it is. Mr. Carter, welcome in. Hashtag M2C. And in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. I hope you're in the Outback doing great, my friend. Hope you're doing great. I really do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're going to go through here. And we're going to have to do some things out of the box. We are going to have, and this is I don't usually take out CDs and stuff, but there's something that has to be done outside the box at certain points. Jorge, I am Canadian. I love snow. Me too. Me too. Wow. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we get the 4 seasons here, and right now we're going from winter, and we're getting close to spring. So I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff outside in spring. But next week's going to be a weird week here, guys. I'm still going to be doing my updates. I don't know how many lives I'm going to be able to do for the next few weeks. We'll see how big of an internet connection I have where I'm going. But I'm not going to be in my house for a couple weeks. I actually, because my son's special needs and he's sensory issues and things like that with noise, um, I went to a hotel right by my house, not too far away. And we're going to be there from Monday through Thursday. And then I'm going to go stay at my dad's house Friday and Saturday. Come back down here Sunday for when the school is, because my son has therapies 3 days a week with school, 5 days next week. So we got to be down here back and forth because it's busy. But I don't want him to be exposed to when they're remodeling my kitchen and all that noise. So it cost me it was only $514 for the 4 days. And it's a suite room, so it's bigger for him. I think it's like 525 square feet. It's not a fancy hotel or anything. It's like a Baymont. But me and Julie have stayed there. It's nice. It's nice enough for us. And that's just something I'm going to be doing. You're leaving us, Tom. Unacceptable. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm leaving you? Are you being serious right now? Or are you just not listening? Or are you trying to stoke me? No, I'm going to be here every day still. I said the lives. I don't know what kind of signal I'm going to get when I'm sitting at the hotel. So if the signal's not good enough, I'm not going to be able to do the live. But I think you're kidding, Joseph, because I see you in here all the time. But, I'll be here. I will still be here, I promise. At the very least, I'll be doing my updates in my shorts. The short videos, not in my shorts. Not yet, anyhow. But, no, James, I get it. But, yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to do the lives. If it's in my power, I will. And it's supposed to be a good connection, so we'll see how it works. But it's gonna be anything but vacation. This is gonna be quite interesting because my son's probably not gonna like that because he's very used to routine. He likes his surroundings, so it's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks. As much as I'm looking forward to the new kitchen, as much as I'm not looking forward to get the work done. Fortunately, the windows have already been put in 2 weeks ago, so and this is what crypto's done for me this cycle. It's paid for a new kitchen, new windows, a couple new appliances. That's like $40,000. So without this cycle, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But with that being said, I own so much crypto still because I bought twice as much as I wanted of everything that I owned. And some things I have like 10 times more than I wanted. But we had such a bear cycle that it affords these opportunities, and I don't take it for granted. So I did that back, as you guys know, back in December when I took the bulk of the profit. And then I went forward with it with the windows and the kitchen. So that's where we stand. And that's where I stand. So a lot of stuff I said today, I mean, I got to go, though. But the one thing try to take out of this is if we lose, now it's at $2.10. So it continues to go lower, more towards Nick's zone. He likes that 206 or 209 area. Then if it breaks that, then it could be doomed. Then there's the $1.98, $1.81, and then ultimately down to $1.50. So we definitely need to look at that. We need to look at H-bar real quick, too. Can we look at DGB, Algo, and H-bar? I can fly through there, and then I have to go. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate that. I do. H-bar is at 20 cents. So far, it's bounced off of the outside of that descending wedge. It tapped it again on the crossing point. And if H-bar, it's the rest of crypto. If they could get hot, we could get somewhere. We just need some volume to follow through here. Right now, this could still be a bear flag, kind of setting up in a rising channel. But we need some volume. If we get some volume here, it could be very awesome. It could be awesome for H-bar. H-bar's already exhausted this wick, so for all intents and purposes, it could be ahead of the market. And it's exhausted it. So if we can hold this, we're going to have a huge spike here. When I say huge, I mean initially you're going to come to 25, then 27, but then ultimately this will end up being a cup here in the short term. And then it might come back up and try to actually make a real right shoulder if this is meant to be a three-peak kind of thing, if it's going to get bearish. But right now, I mean, this is where you need to make a move. We need to make a move here is the point. We need to make a move. We're running out of time. But at the same time, this is a backside of what looked like a descending wedge. And now it back tested the breakout point, which is pretty spectacular. So yeah, right now, if this could pull up here, it could be a very, very sneaky move. This is a sneaky time right now in the market. Because this is where there's extreme fear. When there's extreme fear, there's always a sneaky opportunity. DGB, just like H-bar, is the same way. It was on the outside of a long-term descending wedge, or a longer-term one when this rally started. And now it was on the backside. It back-tested it. Now it looks like it could be, you know, starting to move up here. It looks almost identical to H-bar on this rotation. The only difference is it didn't come all the way down to the exhaustion wick. But some of them end up making, like, right here where it's more solid, and it ends up being a reversal like that. So that's where it's becoming a little tricky here, because they might not come all the way down to the exhaustion point. Not all of them are meant to do that. So how long do you think XRP can get to the next bear market? I have no idea. I don't base it. I don't know. I don't like to make predictions like that. If I try to tell you a precise date, all I'm telling you is I'm an idiot. I don't know anything. So I'm not going to put myself in a spot to look like an idiot. Because nobody knows. I couldn't, even if I wanted to tell you, I couldn't be honest. I would have to come up with some fairy tale number out of my ass and then tell you that's the date. And when it passes, I'll say, oh, look, some obstacle happened, and now here's the next date. And I would have to keep doing that. So that's honest as I can be. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. If the $1.50 breaks, probably around that time. Once the $1.50 breaks and gets used as resistance, this bull market's officially over. Just if you want to put a line in the sand, we can call it like that. If it goes down below $1.50 and it gets used as a resistance, that fair value gap area, if that's a resistance hit, it's over. It's over. That's all. It's over. If it loses $1.50, this market is over. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Nothing's happening with the case. Absolutely zero. We got to wait till April 16th, likely, or somewhere around there, unless they decide to drop it before. But as far as that closed door meeting, nothing's going to happen with the case. So, I did H-bar. I did DGB. What was the other one? Algo? Was that the third one? We talked about Algo, but that's another one that looks pretty similar to DGB and H-bar. Outside of what looked like a descending wedge. Now it's literally now or never. If this is going to end up making some kind of reversal, we said this could be the whole head here still, and we need to come up and make a right shoulder. So back tested the outside of it, but we really need this to not be like a rising channel that's about to break down here and come all the way down to 19 or 17.30. If this breaks down from here, it's coming down to like 17.3 cents. So everything that looks like a good deal right now might just end up being another stepping stone to a worse deal. You know, but extreme fear tends to lead the understanding that we're going to have something unexpected happen in a bullish scenario. It's just, it might not happen till after the weekend. Because we have the escrow dump, and generally the way this lines up is it's not truly bullish. So we'll see. All we can do is wait, see what we see on the charts, and, you know, basically sit around and wait and see what happens. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all so much for listening. I have to go. Appreciate each and every one of you. This hour went absolutely unbelievably fast. Let's see. But yeah, I talked about the news earlier, so